Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and this review is for the movie called Jumanji The Next Level. This is a 2019 film. It is rated PG 13. It's directed by Jake Kasdan. It stars Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, among others. And the runtime is 2 hours, 3 minutes. The description: in Jumanji The Next Level, the gang is back. But the game has changed. As they return to Jumanji to rescue one of their own, they discover that nothing is as they expect. The players will have to brave parts unknown and unexplored, from the arid deserts to the snowy mountains, in order to escape the world's most dangerous game. This is Jumanji The Next Level. Well, I'll tell you what. I think there's a pretty darn good sequel. I really do. I was wondering about being able to see this movie by itself. That was my first concern going in. My second concern was if it was going to be funny enough because the first one was pretty darn good. I was pleasantly surprised by the first one. It was a remake. It had all these people in it. I expected a lot, and it gave a lot. So the second one here, I was worried about that. The third one was if they were going to have enough of a story. What the movie was going to be about, how they were going to handle the game and the levels and all this stuff. I was wondering if it was all going to make sense or if it was just going to be like a strewn together mess. So, we'll first consider if it was a good sequel, if it made sense and all that. And I think the story was pretty good. I do. Uh, I know that when things when like superheroes die or villains die in superhero movies, like nobody's really ever dead because you can come up with a reason that they didn't make that fall, or oh, they had on a vest, bulletproof vest or something. And I just kind of feel like Jumanji's in that zone where nobody's really going to die. Nobody can actually die. It's Jumanji, it's rated PG 13. So I kind of felt like that walking in, and that was the case. But the story itself was pretty darn good. They had made sense of why the game was still around. They just kind of simply said, they just had their main character, Spencer, just kind of say, I kept it. Okay, that's explained. Good enough. Moving on. And then, the whole mixture of the characters, the mixture of the game levels and stuff, different experiences that they have, it all makes fine sense. Okay? So you don't need to be too critical of this movie. It is a sequel. It's not supposed to be making perfect sense all the time, which there are some things that, very critical people could probably analyze with this movie. Fair enough. Okay? But moving on to the second point is that it's really, really funny. There's a lot of funny stuff in this. It's so hilarious that most of my theater was laughing at certain parts here and there. We didn't all agree on it. We weren't all laughing out loud at the same time, but everybody found something that they could get triggered by. For me, it was Jack Black in the desert complaining about how his character sucks. Funniest thing I've seen in a while, even watching it on commercials 100,000 times. I didn't see the full scene on the previews, and once you see the whole scene, it is so funny. And there's so much other stuff. Sometimes it's just how hard the rock hits somebody, or the way that Kevin Hart is talking as an old man. There's all kinds of stuff going on, and it's all very funny that you don't need to be so critical, because transitioning to the third point, there are a lot of predictable things with this. This is meant for children because the original movie with Robin Williams was a children's movie. It had, it was about a board game. It was about animals. It was about a make believe area. It was a magical movie. And so now that they've remade it with these characters that we have today, it's still a magical world. Like, it's meant for kids to go see this. Yes, they have a couple cuss words in it. Yes, there's a lot of inappropriate talk about certain body parts, the male body parts, but it's meant for kids. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be an adventure. It's supposed to give you some intrigue and have people lose lives in the video game, and give the threat of something serious happening, but not really have it happen. And it's supposed to have all these jokes to make even adults laugh. So it's really well rounded. It's really, complete movie. I was surprised with it being a second of a series, how funny, how complete, how much things really did make sense, and it was predictable. There is vulgar humor in this, but those are kind of the two weakest points. So the rest of the movie is really good. It brings in a character when it needs to. It has characters do something that really makes sense towards the end. It has a bad guy who really isn't, having any weaknesses, and it brings in some other characters that make the situation even more exciting. So, it's kind of a thrill ride. Like, just keep talking about it, and there's so many strong points and so many funny things and so much interaction and so many characters feeding off of each other. The one thing I will say on the negative sort of side is the jokes that are repetitive, is the old man jokes, because of the two older actors that we have included in this situation. Kevin Hart and The Rock get to play those characters in the video game, and it gets a little repetitive with the old people jokes and the conversation between them. I just don't know if people would continually, be like that. Some older people, yes, they're hard of hearing. Some older people, yes, they ask what you're saying many times a day. But to play it up so much, I felt like it was a little sappy and just a little sad that they were playing it up so much. So just a little bit on the warning side for me there. And a little bit of the predictability is the stuff that happens with the magic, with the storyline, with nobody dying, that kind of thing. It's stuff that you could probably see before you even stepped into the theater that is coming, and it still happens. That kind of stuff does hurt a movie because people are sitting there going, yep, yep, that's exactly what I knew was going to happen, yep. And when you get that feeling about your movie, people can't watch it many times over because every single time they watch it, they're going, "Oh man, I saw that coming a mile away," and "Oh, now I'm remembering that I knew that in the theater," and then people start getting a negative view of your movie. So yes, you're trying to please children. Yes, you're trying to humor the adults, but you cannot have it be so predictable. And I like that they tried to keep one thing as a secret from us towards the end. They had it kind of off screen, and a character went, "Oh, that looks like something," and they didn't let us see the something. And it came up later, and we still knew what the something was, but kids might not, So at least they're pleasing somebody here. So I would say I had a really, really good time with this movie. I was going to the movie with somebody who has not seen the first one, and I really don't think you need to see the first one to go see this, but I think people need to see the first one to see how good it is and see why the second one is just as good. It just doesn't make much sense if you haven't seen the first one because you don't know the interaction between the characters and stuff. So, I would advise to watch this. I had a great time. I laughed a lot. Focus on that, and I think you will too. I don't think this is going to be a movie that's going to rock anybody's socks off, but I think it is a good time for anybody just to enjoy themselves and laugh at some things. Whether you find The Rock funny or Kevin Hart funny or Jack Black funny, whoever you don't find funny, you'll find something to humor yourself a little bit, at least with this movie, and that's more than some movies can say. So, I had a great time. I enjoyed seeing it in the IMAX, And I'm going to give this movie a really good grade because it's only a slight bit more predictable and repetitive than the first movie, and I loved the first movie. So I'm going to give Jumanji The Next Level a B plus. I really think everybody needs to go and see it in theater, but owning it can be just as good. I'll probably buy both of these movies as a combo pack, and I assume there will be a third one. So try and jump on board with this series. These celebrities are buying into this. You might as well too. A B plus for Jumanji The Next Level. Thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And enjoy your movies. Thank you.